Hello,
Hello.
everybody.
Hey.
We're back.
We're
We
live.
are
We're
back.
live.
We are live. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. We are so excited. I have a new friend, but a very good friend already to me, a Taoist priest. My friend here, Master San. Am I saying that right?
Yes, Master
Master
Sun Queen. Yeah.
Sun Queen. And I just want to take this time just to let you guys know we're going to be talking about synchronicity, manifestation, law of attraction, all those good things. So call your friends, send the link and your messages or what have you so that we can come in and just have this discussion. All right. So I want you to introduce yourself also and kind of tell us what it is that you do and how you got to this place in your journey to help others.
Yeah. Okay, let's start with my name is San Quinn. I'm a Taoist master, which is in definition a lineage holder. So I'm a lineage holder of two sects of Taoism. And one's a 66 generation sect holder, and the other one's a 126 generation sect holder. So I'm sort of deep into the Taoist thing, you could say. So basically, understanding the inner workings of Taoism from the sense of you get past the idea that it's just because most people are like, well, what is Taoism? And then it's a philosophy. And now you're saying that he's a Taoist priest. I'm confused. Well, in essence, you have one of the really big players in Taoism was a guy by the name of Lao Tzu, who about 3,000 years ago had an equivalent to an epiphany, or what someone would consider a channeling moment, where he transmitted from his communication with the universe what we know today as the Tao Te Ching. So these are 81 verses that we use within Taoism, and basically that's the real core sort of like manual that you use as a Taoist. It's very simple, 81 verses, that's it. But it's a living scripture that is interpreted, and it's been interpreted probably more than any scripture ever in the history of man. Tao Te Ching is the most interpreted ancient script. So I mean, there must be millions of different versions of it, but the essence is very true, which is understanding you're in a connection with the universe, and that is the true essence of things. So on a greater level, going back even further in time, which is talking more like probably 6,000 to 10,000 years ago, we're talking about a guy by the name of the Yellow Emperor, who was the founder of China as you know it. And so the speculation in time between the Yellow Emperor was, they say it's about 3,000 years. Everyone's like, oh, it's about 3,000 BC. But evidence is proving from a lot of the oracle sort of bone characters that we use within basically the language of, Mandarin, Cantonese as you know it today, which is Mandarin is the latest version of that. That's like gone through 6 or 7 generations back to oracle bone reading, where initially, the Yellow Emperor would have one of his guides, or his trusted spirit guide that he would work with, and he said, I need to start logging what's going on here in relation to history. And the guy goes, well, let me see what I can do. And so he went out and started looking at the environment and started to draw like pictures, just sort of logging them. And you can find these things. It's like it's been dated back to 6,000 BC. Actual evidence of these number. Well, basically they're just drawings. They look like drawings, but they sort of boil down to what we have today as Mandarin. And so Mandarin is a really powerful language. It's very simplistic. And I'm currently on my journey. I've been at it for quite some time, but I'm going to successfully complete that. Then I'll start speaking fluently in Mandarin probably by the end of the year. But it's an ongoing thing, and if you don't, if you're not consistent with a very powerful language like that, it sort of like falls to the wayside. So you have to have communication. It's kind of like AI is a great tool right now for that.
Right.
You can learn any language very quickly.
This is very, very true.
So I integrate a lot of the stuff that I've learned as a Taoist, and that goes from incantations, any sort of ancient scripture, We have a lot of ancient rituals that evoke the energetic body, and that's what we do better than anybody. If you've ever heard of Bruce Lee, he had his own Taoist master. He had a Taoist master that he went to and was using as his go-to for his internal alchemy. So our big thing is, like, everyone wants the internal alchemy, that the glow,
how can I achieve that?
We do, we do.
And so that glow, that comes from understanding how to harness the energy that we all have inside ourselves, but bringing your sensory perception at a level where you're actually consciously moving that energy and transmuting it in any direction you want. And that sort of comes into the integration of like Qigong, which is basically moving energy with your mind, and Qigong, which is moving energy with your breath. And so I integrate those in a lot of the training that I do, and it translates into, some profound miracles, to say the least, which we should really consider ordinary, because once you understand you are the consciousness, and that consciousness is everything and everybody, all of a sudden you're accessing levels of consciousness, and you turn it into pliable, sort of like malleable situations where you're now able to alter energy, frequency, vibration at will, which is kind of
that makes me think about how we say that we can manifest things within our bodies, like that energy source being able to release. That's why you have to be careful of your thoughts, the things that you say, the energy that you choose to be around, because our bodies, our vessels, is this powerful manifestation tool. So with that being said, how would you define manifestation, and what is the basic principles of it?
Okay, so it's a great point that you bring up. You have to understand the mechanics of how human beings perceive their reality. So if you're operating in a duality, which it sounds to me like you are, because you have to understand there's two sides to a coin, and within Taoism, the objective is there's yin and yang, and when you look at Taoism, it's like a mountain. And so yang is on one side, yin is on the other. You come to a point, and that's that level of consciousness of all things are realized. So now it's a knowing. So now all of a sudden, the blending of the yin and yang becomes one. Right? So now when we talk about how you're perceiving your reality in relation to, you're saying, okay, I've got to be very mindful of what I say. Can you guys hear that? Oh, maybe. Yeah. So the what you're saying and what you're doing are two different things. So from a linguistic perspective, there is a rippling effect from the words that are coming out of your mouth, how your unconscious is affecting the outcome by, let me see. Do we need to stop for a minute, or?
No, we're good.
Okay.
Yeah. You need something?
I don't know. I can just hear. Can you hear a little echo or something?
No. Echo? I don't. Wait, I hear Nikki. I think it's coming from your end. The echo.
Is it?
I don't hear. How do you know it's coming from my end?
I can hear it in your. When you say something, I can hear a little echo.
Yeah. Can you hear it?
No, I can't hear.
I can't hear it when you talk, but when she says something, sometimes I can hear a little bit of it.
Okay.
Okay. Can you hear it now?
I can't. I sound all right now. There's no echo now.
Okay.
Or is it?
I don't. He was saying the echo was coming from. You thought it was coming from.
Yeah, I thought it was coming from me. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I don't have it
because I got the echo cancellation off.
I do too.
Nikki, you got yours off too?
Yeah.
Okay. So we should be good.
Yeah, I moved the mic away, but I'm good.
Okay. I wonder, do anybody hear any echoes? Please comment and let us know.
Yeah.
Okay. E. Williams said yes, there is an echo.
Okay, that's what I figured, but I can't. Can you hear an echo with my transmission?
I can't hear one. Can you hear one with mine?
No.
You sound really good, Nikki. Do you hear it on mine?
No. Do you hear it on mine?
No.
Whoa.
Sorry, guys, if you can help. Who do you hear the echo coming from?
Yeah, can you hear it from me? I'm talking right now.
All right, Bid Fitness and Health said no echo. Okay, so maybe it's fixed now. Oh, they said E said it's gone now. E. Williams. Thank you, E.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much.
We appreciate it, everyone.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No worries. I just want to make sure people can hear properly. So let's get down to the mechanics of the linguistics, which everything is integrated into your DNA, right? So words, symbols, numbers, they're all integrated deeply into your DNA. So this is why you resonate with a word, a picture, a sound. That is part of, and the traveling effect of that, right? Because your dermal layer is the switch for your consciousness.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's back up a little bit. So you were talking about words and how you have to be mindful. That's very valid if you are operating in a duality. If you're in a duality, and so that's like leveling up.
Man, you're taking it to another level. Okay.
All right. So
I got to get my tea. Hold on. Wait a minute.
Yeah. So if you perceive your reality as up and down, in and out, good and bad, heaven and hell, then this will be materialized. So most people get all upset because when they start talking about manifestation, they're like, oh my goodness, I wanted this and it didn't happen. I said, you're the most powerful manifester. And they're like, what are you talking about? You just manifested a moment of complete anger and disappointment. That was realized instantaneously. Like, what?
Yes.
Hang on a second. You took an emotion, because everything's a thought, feeling, and an emotion, and you twisted it into an obscure perception of your reality. It's happened instantaneously. So emotions create suggestibility. I need you to understand that. So I'll repeat it one more time. Emotions create suggestibility, and that opens the gateway to an incoherent signal. Now, the signal determines whether you're in line with the universe or not. So what a lot of the indigenous practices, for example, Taoism, has been talking about the synchronicity between the three dantians, which is the brain, the heart, and the gut, right? This has been going on for thousands of years. Now, that synchronicity, can you guys hear that?
Now I can hear it.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. Can you hear mine? Like, what am I doing? That's so weird.
That is super weird. Hold on. I'm trying to see if I can edit your mic.
Yeah.
Wait, it says echo cancellation, reduce mic background noise.
How about now? You see now it's really...
Okay, I think I can hear you now.
How about now?
All right.
What is the echo? That's so weird.
That is so weird.
We didn't have an echo before the live.
I don't know.
Yeah. Let me see. Hold on 1 second. Nikki?
Yes.
Okay. I don't hear from you. It might be his.
Is it my mic?
Yep.
Is echo cancellation on for you?
It said try muting Nikki's for a second. Hold on, Nikki. Okay. And I'm gonna mute mine. Oh, wait.
Hello? Can you hear me now? How's that sound?
It sounds good. Oh man, it was coming from Nikki.
Oh, really? Was it? Are you sure?
That's weird. Because I don't hear it anymore. Now I'm about to unmute you, Nikki.
Hello?
All right. Yeah.
How do you know?
Because when I unmute you, I can hear the issue. So this is what we're going to do.
Well, mute him and then try to see
it.
It's not me, it's you. No.
Yeah. So this is what we can do, Nikki. When he's talking, let's just mute both of our mics. And when we want to talk, we just turn the mic back on.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. Sorry about that, everybody.
Okay. Sorry, guys. So let's get back to the fundamentals of understanding how. So you guys can hear me good? Yeah? Okay. So so you spoke on the duality component. The duality component is very important, but understanding the mechanisms that bring you to a manifestation is even more important. So now we need to understand that the universe is pulsating at all times. That's how it works. So this is this 0 point energy that we talk about that is dynamic always. It never ends. It's always doing this. So when you want to create a miracle, you want to create a manifestation, you want to create a healing, this all has to do with when. So, if you're looking at it and you want, how quickly do you want your manifestation to be realized? Are you going to do it when you go out to the wave on the beach that's down at the low level, or when it's a super wave that's coming in? You want it to be realized instantaneously, because we are operating beyond light speed. And it all has to do with when you synchronize, because you're going to create a thought, feeling, and an emotion which has an energetic charge, which will be realized whether you like it or not. It's out there. So it's going to find something equal to or greater than what you have already created. Now, the question is are you intercepting it with, oh, I've decided I want to manifest, but in the back of my mind, I'm really thinking, no, it's not going to happen. And then all of a sudden you get really disappointed because, oh my goodness, I wanted this to happen and it didn't happen. When you'll notice there's a flow that comes with the emotional component. When you take the emotion out, all of a sudden it's quite easy for you to materialize things like this. It's like simple as, you want your friend to call you. Go ahead. You want to say? Did you want
No,
to say?
I was listening to you, and I definitely was agreeing because what do you think about manifestation rituals? Like how people do like the full moon thing. I think it was something, Nikki, do you know the name of the full moon ritual that just passed? I think it was on August 30th. I got to take you off mute. Sorry. What was that, Nikki?
No, I can't remember. I don't know exactly which one.
Yeah, it was I think it was called Blue something.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a what in the world? What is this? Okay. Yeah. And what it was, I know a lot of people say that you write on a paper. What you would do, you write down on a paper, you write down the things that you want to release. You want to write down the things that that you're grateful for.
Mm-hmm.
And then you write a letter to yourself as if you already had those things.
Mm-hmm.
And then after you did that, you fold the paper, you take it outside, you get like a glass or a jug of water and you like cover it and you put that letter underneath the you put the paper underneath the water. And then in the morning before sunrise, you're supposed to go out there, read the paper to the water and drink it. And it was your way of manifesting and digesting all the things that you manifest.
And you know what the theme was? The whole theme of that whole thing that ignites the validation of that? Do you know what it is?
No.
We want to know.
I feel like I'm on class. Nikki, help out.
To make that realized, it's quite simple. Do you believe it? That's it.
True.
That's all it comes down to.
So am I on mute still?
No, boo. We can hear you.
Okay, I just went ahead and disconnected my mic, so hopefully that'll work. But
you sound amazing.
But it also, isn't it that you have to feel it? So you have to believe it, feel it, and those two go together. Is there?
Absolutely. So very good point, Nikki. Look, the real, maybe we've got rid of the mic. The mic band is gone.
Well,
I think
I think that what it was. It probably was your mic. You probably didn't. Did you not have it plugged in all the way or something?
Oh yeah, it was plugged in because it lights up. But anyway, let's not spend too much time on it.
All right, go ahead.
Anyway, the feeling, that was a very good observation that you made.
Real good.
So the feeling is critical. I always remind people the first thing is the truth is only what you believe. Your truth is the only truth you need to be concerned with. People get really, oh my goodness, you said what? What do you mean? Your truth is the only truth that you need to be concerned with. That sounds sort of like you can think and do whatever you want. I'm like, yeah, that's right. You can.
That's true.
And so what happens is from a physiological, neurological aspect, how that's validated. Is there a question we want to answer or?
Oh, no, that was something that someone said that I definitely agree with.
All right.
Okay.
Oh, yes, absolutely. 1000%. That's incredible insight. So let's look at the neurological aspect of a manifestation. So to create sort of like an energetic charge that is realized within the field, you have to feel it, right? So how do you create that feeling? That feeling is manifested within this neurology, within your physical body, right? And so what happens is your neurology will speak volumes, right? You have 5 senses that you're born into this world with. once you start realizing things and your consciousness levels up, that perception, sensory perception goes from 5 to 9 to 20 to 30 to 80. It just doesn't stop. So, but what you have to start with is the feeling is critical, because that gives you the realization that evokes the coherence, which we like to call the coherence, synchronizing, because we were just talking about this. So you want to synchronize your brain with your heart, with your gut. Within Taoism, it's the sun, the earth, and the moon. And so the sun is electric, the earth is magnetic, and the moon is the culmination of the two yin and yang energies. And so when you look at, because there's a lot of people, I just had someone on my podcast who was an intuitive reader, an angel reader, and she recognizes a lot of numbers. So we're talking about symbolism and numbers and words and all these things that I've spoken to you about within the integration within your DNA strand. So when the four being, oh, look, forbidden knowledge, 4. No, 4.
There you go.
Now, it's really strange, because if you bring 4 to ancient Eastern practices, that's a no. That's a 4 means death. So if the pronunciation of that, if you bring it to an Eastern culture, they're going to be like, oh no 4. That's really weird, but that's how they perceive it. So even though it's the number 4, if you pronounce it in a different tonality, it turns into death.
Oh, that's just like how we think about 666 in America, like Satan, the devil.
Exactly, and 666 means whatever it means to whoever it means. The realization of it is up to the individual. And so you're operating in that duality. So let's get back to the mechanics.
Yes.
So you have this. What were we looking at? The component of it was you have to be able to feel the energy from the neurology aspect. Okay, so that comes with a transmission of sound. Okay, so sound will permeate your ears, permeate your dermal layer, right? Because the dermal layer is the largest receptor of it. Basically, your dermal layer of your body is your tuning fork for the universe.
Wow.
Let's repeat that one more time.
So
you're the TV, you're the TV screen, right? You're the TV. Your antennas are your dermal layer, and that actually, in definition from a epigenetic model, if you want to get really scientific, is your perception. Your skin is your perception. So you have what they call sensory or self neurons or self receptors within the dermal layer that will take the signal from external signal into the skin, and the blood is what we call the culture medium, which is the transporter of your thoughts, feelings, and emotions. So the second you have a cognitive spark, which you believe is in your mind, which is not true, it's your consciousness is everything. The brain is nothing more than alchemical factory. So whatever your intention creates, you create a thought, feeling, and an emotion, right? And that's realized within the chemistry of a pituitary, pineal, and thalamus. That creates the shuttle of information that is then realized in the blood. The blood is the transporter of that, and it turns on and off your gene expression, instantaneously realizing your manifestation.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait, I got a quick question, because I was thinking about, I think I asked Nikki this the other day. It was, what is the difference between praying and manifestation? And the other question is there really a difference? Are they the same thing, or are they actually something different?
Oh, that's a great question. And guess what? It's up to you. Your truth is only what you believe.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, go ahead. Did you have a question?
Oh, no, I was saying it's our perception, right?
Yeah, well, no, it's absolutely. Your sensory perception is the only thing. So when you do things like, and we'll go through a little exercise before you give me the time frame of when we're finishing, so I can make sure we get the exercise in beforehand. Okay. So the truth is, we go back to the letters, words, numbers, symbols. All that is integrated into your DNA. And it's realized that way. That's why you gravitate to certain things. You gravitate to certain numbers. You gravitate to certain letters, words, colors. It's part of who you are. Your truth teller, it has a neural network, right? So there's what we call a combination of a neural network within the heart and the brain. Both of them have what we call sensory nitrates that are basically the cells, that same integration of cells that you have in your brain, you have in your heart. So you have a small small brain in your heart. So you've got a brain in your head, and a brain in your heart. And so that neural network and those cells are integrated. And what happens is when you create coherence, so you get you're having an emotion. A lot of these people will talk about feel love or feel gratitude, feel appreciation. That's a quick way to shortcut that coherence. And so once you fire up that truth teller and you are feeling love, that neural network then communicates the parasympathetic nervous system up to your brain, and your brain then realizes that uses mirror neurons to then transmit the signal down into your gut, and then you get what they call a gut feeling. Right.
I love it. I hope somebody on here taking notes.
Right.
Oh, my goodness.
So all that stuff that you intuitively being like, oh, yeah, you know what? I think with my head it doesn't work. I feel with my heart it works sometimes. When you sync the two together, blammo, your gut feeling is going to be dead on accurate every single time. And that's the realization. Go ahead.
So I have a question. So say, for instance, you want to manifest something and you don't feel it, but you purposely set the intention to start feeling it. What does that look like? Walk us through that, because do you really feel it initially when you say, okay, I feel love? Or is that something you have to work towards? And what does that look like?
Well, I mean, that's beautiful. That's a great question. And I'll say this to you. It's your perception. So, you can realize, I always tell people, I'm like, look, I've been doing this over 30 years in this lifetime, but probably I would say dozens of lifetimes before this. I've been doing this a long time. And I can promise you this, if you synchronize with what I'm saying and you realize it, you can instantaneously access the same things I do, like this. It's not a Mr. Miyagi progression and, oh my goodness, you got to wax on and wax off, all that kind of stuff within Karate Kid, right? Yeah. Like, I
knew you was going to do that.
Right. And I actually played that song today. It's like the best in town, that song from Karate Kid. I was playing at the beginning of my podcast because you get so fired up. So what happens is, when you get a song, any song, I don't care what it is, you find the pinnacle of that song where you get the most excited. It generates the most physiological, neurological response from you. You will feel it internally. The feeling, that is the 0.1 hertz frequency that's necessary for you to line yourself up with the earth and the universe. And that is go time. That is manifestation.
I love it.
And you will instantly sync the brainwave. So, Nikki's gone and has experienced some things that I've created. Like I have an app that works on that. Yes, that realizes your neurological network instantaneously. So what happens is you will be in a state where, like, oh my goodness, I just feel so relaxed. I'm so and this is something that you need to realize. You can be using this all day, every day. It doesn't have to be oh my goodness, I'm in that state where I want to put some incense on and play the relaxing music and sit down and meditate. You need this to be real world applicable stuff. So you need to be able to access your nervous system and dial in the frequency that is the universe. Now, why I said the 4 in relation to the 4 ones, because a lot of people talk about angel reading and they talk about the 4 numbers, and that's really good luck to a lot of people. Well, understand this. When you synchronize your heart with your brain and your gut, guess what that is? It's a 0.1 frequency hertz frequency, 0.1. So when you guess what the frequency of the earth is? 0.1.
Okay. I was like, 0.1.
0.1?
Is the frequency of the earth. So when you synchronize your heart to 0.1 with love or gratitude or appreciation, you are synchronizing with the earth and the universe.
Beautiful.
Instantaneously. So understand that this is the kind of powerful stuff. And so when you count it up, it's like I synchronize my brain, my heart, my gut, the earth, that's the 4 fours, if you know what I'm saying. Does that make sense?
Like the
And
4
so,
chambers in the heart. Do that matter?
Yeah. And so when people start going, holy moly, I'm getting these signals. I'm feeling this number 4. I don't know where it's coming from. Just 4 ones. It's because that's you. That's your go time. That's your realization. You are the universe. You are the field. You are the oneness. And that's when powerful things take place, because you start to generate those brain waves that make you highly conscious. Now that's just a great way to manifest instantaneously by taking something in where you feel good. So what people need to realize is you don't have to lead up to manifesting. You feel that frequency, that energy, that vibration, that feel good song, whatever that song is. And that is the ebb and flow of the universe that we speak of, because it's always pulsating. And so whoever created that music that makes you feel good was syncing with the universe when they made that moment, that key moment, the chorus, the peak of the song, the beat, whatever. That's it right there. And you got it. You got it right there. And
here it is, Nikki. This for you.
Yeah.
With the singing, sis, with the singing.
Yeah. And all you need to do is literally say it. So the key is, don't go, hang on a second, I am the universe. No. You already realized that, right? So when you feel it, all you say is healing, car, money, whatever. It doesn't matter. That's the simplicity of it, because you're operating as the universe. So you're not going to go and ask yourself, can you help me? That would not make any sense. Hey, universe, can you help me? But hang on, whoa, I am the universe. It doesn't make sense. Am I talking in the third person? I'm not really working this out. Right. You have to accept that there is no title. So it's not like you have to have a really defined situation, because you're the one operating this universe. You're the one operating your consciousness. So right there at that moment is when you go, healing, car, money, life, whatever you want. And that's how it works.
You have it all.
And you can have it all. And you will start to separate the idea that you're separated. So you will go you'll either be one, and like I like to call it like this: you're either thinking or you're knowing. If you're thinking, you're compartmentalized. You are not whole. If you're knowing, you're feeling. That's when you know. It's all got to do with that feeling. And so that neural network in your heart has only been realized by Western world per se. Now, for ancient indigenous practices like myself, or Hermetic principles, or Hindu or Buddhist or whatever, we've been doing this stuff for thousands of years. A lot of people right now are sort of like going, well, that's that person's way to do it. And there's a couple of people out there that are pretty well known for saying, I synchronize these things. I'm not going to mention names, but who I'm talking about. And they're very articulate at explaining it, but they didn't realize that. This has been going on with indigenous practices for thousands of years, well before they were realized in this lifetime. But it sounds kind of good that they're able to articulate how these mechanisms work, and that just comes from a deeper dive into understanding what's going on within this flesh and blood. Yes. And so if people just walk away from today going, listen, how do I want to manifest I am the receptor that will send out a signal or receive a signal. And this comes from my flesh and blood. My skin is the perception. So I can switch that on and off like this. That's it. So the second you create a thought, feeling, and an emotion, you are now determining what you want to do with your internal, which then is a reflection of your external. So how you and so if you lead with fear will find you. If you say, oh, I need to be very careful of what I think, do, or say, then this will be the framework that you create your reality in. Now, if you realize that you are the field and that everything you do is of the highest level of consciousness, you just gravitate to magical things. It happens that way. You don't have to be separated or thinking about whether you're going to do the right thing or the wrong thing, or it's always going to be to the highest conscious level, and profound things happen. It ripples out into everyone's life.
Wow. And I love that. Can you give us a example of like a story of you manifesting something, and how did it go?
Let me see. We could do a healing. Do you want to do a healing?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. So this happened to me many decades ago, right?
Yes.
This is like I was just getting warmed up. I'm started on my journey as the the Taoist priest, the healer per se, and I'd literally been involved in this thing for a few minutes, and I got to a point where I was shown how to do what we consider today as a distance healing. I don't know whether you ever heard of that before. Right. Okay. A distance healing is so basically, and we're going to do something like that.
Like Reiki healing?
Well, Reiki is a Japanese version of energy, right? So Qigong is just the Taoist version of energy, right? So everything is energy, right? So, and we will do a little healing between the three of us and the audience if they want to before we leave.
I'm ready.
So basically, I got a situation where I just started warming up on this stuff, and I went through a specific a ritual that was giving me a pointed list of how to obtain this distance healing. And I'm looking at it, and this is what I like people to do: is when they look at things, take it at face value as if you're childlike, because that power of being childlike and not having, when you accept that you know nothing, you know everything. The second you get all caught up in your head and you think you've got all these other different ways to do things, it equalizes and neutralizes all the profound opportunities that will ripple out into your manifestation. So this is my first experience. So I finished this day and I get home and I get a phone call. And back in those days, you have a phone on the wall, you pick it up, the little cord on the, it's like people wouldn't even know. My kids wouldn't have no idea. They'd have zero idea what I'm talking about. So you pick up this thing, it's a rotary phone. And anyway, my friend's like, oh, look, I'm not going to be able to meet you today. I'm like, oh, that's too bad. She said, oh, yeah, I busted my leg. I busted my ankle and it's all swollen. It's like the size of a watermelon. I'm like, oh, okay. And she goes, look, we'll catch up next week. And I'm like, okay. Well, hang on, whoa. And she's like, what? Let me try this out. And so I've got this list of what you have to do to manifest the healing in front of me. It's like a point to point, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, boom. And so basically I looked at it and went, let me try this out. And I'm talking to her on the phone. I go, heal, 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 heal. And I hear what the? And I'm like, what are you talking about? And I'm editing myself at this point. And she's like, what the? And I'm like, excuse me? What's going on? What's happening? He's like, what are you doing? What exactly are you doing? I'm like, what are you talking about? I just followed this instruction. Tell me what happened. And she's like, my ankle has disappeared. It was the size of a bowling ball. It's gone. I'm standing on it right now and I'm walking around and it's like I can step on it. I can feel. I'm like, this is like, there's something going on. What are you up to? What is going on here? And I'm like, listen, I don't know what's going on. I just read the instructions. I followed it and it was realized. Now understand this. And to this day, and I've seen some crazy miracles in my natural born life over the last 30 years. I could write a book for thousands of them. But the realization is the swelling disappeared. She instantly healed her ankle and she was walking on it. Now, if you understand anything about like ankle sprains, and maybe everyone's had one, because of the blood flow or lack of blood flow in the tendons and ligaments within your ankles, knees, it takes a longer time to heal. So skeletal muscle will heal faster than like the connective tissue, like ligaments and tendons. So normally when someone gets a sprained ankle or a busted knee or something, they're out for 6 months of their training, time frame. You get athletes like, I blew my leg out. I'm going to miss the season for 6 months. I got to do rehab. Well, she had this realized in a couple of seconds. Now this is very normal for me in my day in the life of these days. But at that moment, that was one of those, holy moly, how is that even possible? Not really, because when you understand you're synchronizing with the universe, and when you accept it, this is what I want to let everyone know that's in the audience. You can have this realized instantaneously. You don't need to ramp up. You don't need to sit here and listen to me for 4 days straight. If you accept that you are truly the field, it's on like Donkey Kong. You can manifest, you can create healing instantaneously,
Yes.
and that
You
feeling
are
is
the
where
healing.
really the
Yes.
feeling is where, what, just like Nikki said, the feeling is the key element. So
Mm-hmm.
that's an example of manifestation. Now, most of the time, it's just a matter of, for Taoists, there's an intricate sort of part, like just as you mentioned, we were talking about writing things down. That's a level of
Yes.
incantation that we use. So you imprint that with your intention. When you're writing that down, you're creating your own architecture of magic.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a level of manifestation, and it's being imprinted into those words. And so that becomes realized. Now, when I do things like that, it's like drawing up what we call a talisman, where you specifically create this talisman, which is a symbol that has infused in it several energies, depending on what it is or what you are looking to manifest or create. You will be drawing in energies from all different parts of the universe, imprinting it and infusing it onto that paper, and then it's realized into the manifestation and the architecture. So more commonly
how powerful we are.
right. And so more commonly than not, you get a lot of people that I've dealt with a lot of stuff over my career as a priest, but because I've dealt with a lot of Eastern culture, they're very superstitious. So you deal with people that are dealing with things where I'll go out and I will help someone design their home so their door is facing a certain direction. More of this, the fundamentals of feng shui, but understanding how the energy flows into their life so that they can manifest on a daily basis whatever it is that they want to realize. So you're not going to have your front door not facing south, because if it's not facing south, then God's light's not coming into your door. That means it's bringing in money, it's bringing in good luck, it's bringing in fertility, it's bringing in longevity. They're the three major components within Eastern culture, sort of longevity, fertility, and money. You know what I mean?
This is very true.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you about your book. I know you have a book on synchronicity. Can you tell us a little bit about it and what it entails?
Right. So the book gives you a step-by-step rundown of how you correlate your shifting of consciousness with the dimensions of the universe. Okay. So then we just sort of we lean on a little bit of quantum physics, understanding how things are constructed within your mind's eye, and how you've realized a 3D reality, then moving into 4D, which is what people consider now. Always understand this: when people are talking about dimensions within the universe, that's still a theory. So everyone that goes, oh, listen, the dimensions are this way. It has to be one dot, two dots in a line, a three-dimensional object. Then the fourth one is time and space. And then the fifth one is realized. This is still conceptual. I'm sorry, but, we can go back and forth on numbers and crunching this and that. Let's be very real. Consciousness, and how I paralleled it within my book, was just your shift of awareness. Consciousness is this. So you take an object, whatever it is, and you guys are where you are, and I'm moving this object around like this, and you have a perspective of the object, and I have a perspective of the object. That is it. Now, what is realized is, can you accept it as constantly being dynamic and moving? And when you start to understand that, you raise that level of consciousness up. If you take an object, whatever it is, a can, and you put it in the middle of your dining room table, and you walk past it every day, the second you don't see something new about it is when your consciousness stops.
Wow.
So you need to understand that things are constantly dynamic and moving, just like the universe, and nothing is stagnant. Everything is energy, frequency, vibration. So within the book, I go through a step-by-step understanding of how to realize a manifestation, from step one to realized this is what you do, and how to acquire the energy, frequency, vibration, which creates the coherence of the heart, brain, and gut, that then realizes your go time, creating the gamma brainwave, which again, gamma brainwaves are so, and it's at its infantile sort of like level, because before, say 15, 20 years ago, it was considered a high gamma brainwave of about 40 hertz. That was sort of realized by about 1% to 2% of the population, if you were lucky. Well, now that, they're bringing in people like myself or, Tibetan guru, meditators, we can realize hurt frequencies that they're now creating new names for. Like gamma was the highest. Now it's hyper gamma, lambda. It just keeps going.
So they just being extra.
Right. So you can realize brainwaves. I mean, I've gone up to brainwaves in excess of 100 hertz. Now they're talking about 200, 400. I'm pretty sure if I had to measure
900, what's that? The God frequency.
Well, yeah, there is no limit. There is zero limit. Now, what you have to realize is you need to be able to see it. Like when I see a manifestation or a healing, I will see the transformation of the flesh and blood before my very eyes. To explain it to you within your consciousness, if you see something happening, it will start wiggling and the tissue will start moving in front of your eyes and it will transform and change and reset back to its original form. Now, if I had a penny for every time I saw that, then I'd be a billionaire. Now, that is and that's a level of consciousness. Now, manifestation is so easy in of itself when it comes to just what you want. But you start to realize once you start leveling up and you do it once, twice, 100 times, now you're like, okay, now let's get serious. It's time to get it on.
You become a walking manifestation at that point. I feel like you get to a level of awareness and consciousness to the point where you don't have to write anything or do nothing. It's just a part of your being.
And that's that recognizing that you are the field. And that's generally what happens. You're able to navigate. So I like to get people to do the 72-hour challenge, which is basically you accept and allow everything for 72 hours straight.
Oh, wait.
Wait
a minute. What is that? Hold on. Yeah, what does that look like? Hold on.
Well, it looks like, guess what? We're having this conversation, and then I start sort of like picking on how curly your hair is and how many curls you got, and you're like, dude, you need to back up. Dude, I don't know what you're doing, but like, why are you fixated on my hair? What different? Oh, I just like it. I just like talking about your hair. And you're like, well, I don't like you talking about my hair. Stop talking about my hair. And so what happens is when you accept and you're like, okay, look, this person's bugging out. Sure, I accept it. That's great. Now you're able to move from that's one down. Okay. And then the next thing that happens, you walk out of your room right now and whoever's in your house goes, look, you got to take this. I'm late for work. Take the dog, take the baby, whatever it is. I need to leave. And you're like, excuse me? I just got done. Oh, okay. I accept that. And so what happens is a sequence of events that you would normally have resistance to, no matter what it is, when you accept and allow it, there is an ebb and flow that you are feeding into. So when you accept the glass is half full, it becomes greater. The next one that you engage with becomes even greater and greater. Within 24 hours of that 72-hour challenge, you will start having to do this. Hang on a second. I need to pinch myself. This is getting too easy. By the 48th hour, you're going to be like, okay, being kind of like just blissful and happy and just carefree and everything just sort of just slides my way.
So no complaining.
This is no complaining. No
that's not like the Jay Shetty challenge where he challenged people to like not complain for a whole week. And,
there you go.
It changes, like you can notice a difference in your mindset, your energy levels, the way you sleep, everything. If you don't complain for a whole week.
Well, that could very well be kind of in the same lines of this. But understand this: it's just a gravitation. Remember, this magnet here, and I think we spoke on it before. I might have spoken on it with Nikki. This is a magnet, right? So guess what? The Taoists call this the earth. So we relate to it as the earth. You are on planet Earth, and within the center of the earth is a huge magnet. And we have this energy that's basically circulating through the magnet and around your body all the time. You have a magnetic field that's surrounding you. Whether you can feel it or not, it's happening right now. You can measure it. It's probably conservatively 6-10 feet from the core of you. Now, guess what?
Is that our aura?
Well, it's a magnetic field. The aura is it's like the color, but you could sort of like put it in the same ballpark. So the frequency is that magnetic field that's coming out of you that is basically the projector. So you take things in, they come up here, and you realize them as an idea, or you are projecting things out this way from the heart. This is the truth teller. That's where everything is realized. And so when people go and they go sit on a couch and they're like, I need help, like they'll come and see someone like Nikki and go, look, I need this. I need someone to work this out. The only fundamental problem with that is that cellular, the cells that I spoke of that were in your brain are also in your heart. So all the trauma and pain that you think you work out up here is still has to be realized down here.
Your body.
So then if that's not realized, then you're always disappointed. You're like, I never really resolved anything. I was talking a lot about it, and I got a lot of help in understanding what's going on up here. But because I have all this neural network that's infused with the thoughts, feelings, and emotions down here, they're not realized. So you have all this stagnation that has to still be released. So the magnet is going on like this. It's going on all day. But that is also what's going on in the planet Earth. That's why we don't burn into a scorching cinder block or basically dust and nothing, just ash, is because that magnetic field is protecting the Earth from the rays of sun that then materializes into a spectrum of light. And that's where we start talking about the rainbow body. And this is how we were talking, Nikki and I were talking about this 528 frequency, Hertz frequency. Did we talk about that before?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a frequency that is also realized as the center of the rainbow, which is all the light coming down from the sun, and the magnetic field that the Earth projects at this 0.1 frequency is protecting us from being burnt to a scorching cinder block. And that realization is that spectrum of light in the center there is the middle of the rainbow, which is here, the heart.
Wow.
Man, the way that this man is explaining this is so amazing and entertaining.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, guys. I am trying to I know, like in podcasts, we supposed to be talking back and forth, but I can listen to you all day.
I know.
Like, it's like music to my ears. I gotta go back. Like,
right?
your
I told you. I try to tell you.
Like your frequency is vibing with my frequency. Like I'm just here, like, wow, I just want to listen.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate
it's so
that.
beautiful how you're just like breaking things down. It makes it exciting to learn from you. I feel like you're a really great teacher.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I really, I want everyone to realize how powerful they are, because that's really the main goal is when you truly wake up and you are the universe. My goodness, profound realizations.
Yes.
And it's happening right now. But when you are able to dial it in at will, that's a whole nother ballgame. That's a whole other realization. And I mean, you set it out. For me, it's so synchronized that if I think something, it just materializes. It's created. And so go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna just say, just piggyback on what Nina said. I heard you a couple times, and then like I shared with Nina also. I'm on a cruise. I'm way, across the country, and I just listened to some of your content on Instagram, and it literally, I felt a shift then, So I love your practices. I love the simplicity of it and how your passion for it, because I think a lot of people do it for different reasons, and I can tell, and I know Nina knows. I was like, you have to hear him.
Yeah. Like, and she said it because I'm like, I hear you, and I can't stop hearing you. I'm like, wow.
I know. I'm just like, wow.
I want you to do the oral thing that you was telling me about, Nikki.
Yeah, I was like, can you read Nina's? Because I told her that you read mine.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go through the aura. Okay, so let's start with the fundamentals. So normally, what we're working at your specific aura right now at this moment, and it's oscillating and changing all the time. It's a mint, sort of a light mint color, green, which is really interesting. And your halo is red. which is quite interesting.
That's scary.
So,
Wait a minute.
well, you see, you got to understand that the oscillating of what's going on. So your aura will also be reflectant of your mental emotional state. And so when we're looking now at the 5 major organs that you have, and then we look at each one to see whether they're excessive or deficient, which will then determine where you're at fundamentally. And that will also align with your energy body that is basically syncing you with the universe or breaking you away from it. And it's only the energetic frequency. So you always want to, within an organ, you want to make sure that you're working towards the virtue as opposed to the emotion, because your emotions will be realized by, if you have a feeling, a thought, feeling, and emotion, it transmutes into that alchemistry from the pineal, pituitary, and thalamus, and then it's realized in the blood. And what happens energetically is, if that emotion is not resolved, it will become stagnant and it'll enter what we call the yellow court, which is your diaphragm, and it will sit there, and then it will be dispersed into the organ that it is associated with. So let's say, for example, you look at anger, which is a popular one everyone loves. Anger will materialize and basically manifest into a sickness, and that will be stored in your liver. So we talk about liver fire, right? Liver fire. Oh my goodness. The fastest way to dissolve any type of like liver fire, being anger, is, what do you do? What's the quickest way to do that? Faster than, well, if, for example, you have the ability to move the energy, or you just go and exercise, go for a walk, go for a run, take a piece of iron and move it for a couple of minutes, and that channel will disperse, and you'll find that instantly you feel better. You're like, I don't know what happened. I just need to work out or something. I just got to, you know what I'm saying? I gotta break off whatever's going on.
Nikki.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, when I look at, let's start with your heart. Your heart is definitely not as open as I'd like it to see. So I don't know how far you want me to go with the aura reading, or
you can go far. I don't even care. I feel like I'll be open on here anyways.
Yeah.
Nikki, can you write his Instagram on here for people? They are asking.
Sure.
You know how to do that, love?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna find out while you doing the aura thing. So
yeah. Okay.
I'm sorry. I don't want to. I know people are asking. They want to.
no.
Instagram.
Yeah, we need people to follow him because he's amazing.
Yeah.
Like, he's
Okay. So actually, let's go back to the truth teller. Let's look at your spleen. So your spleen stores certain emotions. There's definitely a connection with the earth. You have that maternal energy, but there is also, and this seems to be more common than not, there is an excess of like anxiety. Right.
Yeah.
So
yes. Lately, definitely a lot of anxiety.
Right. So the anxiety is kind of amplified. So that excess, what do you want to make sure you don't do when you're highly anxious? There's one food that you don't want to put fuel on the fire.
Sugar?
Yes. And that will manifest into physical, like representations of peeling skin on your lips, all that type of stuff will start to realize, because this is the channel that moves through your body. And now, because it's excessive, we now come down to the kidneys, and the kidneys are a little bit more deficient. So now we have like, I would say they're a light blue color. You want a really dark sort of blue, sort of a dark black blue color for your kidney channel. So that means there's high levels of fear. There's definitely issues with your level of sleep and your ability to sleep consistently. Does this make any sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely lately. I think it's just like expectations that I have, like new expectations, which I don't know, like a lot of people, they always have like like I have the fear. I always had this fear of being successful, and I'm not like I'm in a place right now which is very confusing because I'm happy and a lot of great things are happening, but I'm not used to that. So it's like I have this huge fear of losing it all.
Right.
Mm.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm like
Right.
pushing myself extra, extra hard every day to make sure I don't lose it. And I feel
Right.
like it's hurting me more than anything.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're losing a grip, you're losing control. Now that
Yeah.
would then materialize into the next element, which is liver,
Mm.
right? So what's the fastest way for you to feel sure of yourself is get
Mm.
angry.
Yeah. Yeah,
Now,
Mm.
this
you
is
see, this is
true.
where I'm like,
To feel.
right. So
Yeah.
that energy, that emotion is very powerful because it becomes realized as, I know exactly what I want. I
Mhm.
know that this is, and so that
Yeah.
transmutes into a masking of the other things that are percolating in the background, coming from the fear, coming from uh, um, the excessive anxiety, and
Mhm.
these are all sort of like now becoming sort of like they're overflowing cups. So when they're excessive, they start flowing into the next one, and that either draws it down or it becomes excessive, and then it flows into the next one. So now the liver fire is kind of up a little bit, like in relation to the emotion of anger is sort of more realized for you more consistently.
Mhm.
I don't know whether that's something that I should be sharing or not. I don't know.
I do not care. I'm an open book. Look,
Is
I love
that
it.
is that where you're at? Well, I want you to talk to the audience and
Okay.
validate what it is that's going on.
Um, I think like for me, I come from a place where like I had a rough upbringing
Mhm.
and a lot of bad stuff happened to me. Like
Okay.
probably 80% of my life, a lot of bad stuff happened. So now I'm in a place a lot of good stuff is happening. And all I can think about is what do I have to do to not lose it all? Like now I'm like thinking about how can I maintain this greatness, this beauty that I have in my life. And I feel like instead of just being present with it, I'm too busy worrying about losing it.
Mm.
And it's hard to ask some people around me because like a lot of people around me besides like Nikki is all the way in Texas and Elizabeth, she's always traveling the world, so it's hard. And like sometimes I just want to sit down with someone and talk to them like about this. And I don't know, like sometimes it's hard to say because you don't even, it's hard to even find the words to express how I feel, because even when I say it out loud I sound crazy because they're like, how can you have anxiety from having so much good things happening to you all at once?
Mhm. Do you feel like you deserve it?
Um,
Do you feel like
Maybe
you
that's where
deserve
it's
the good
coming
things that are
from.
yeah, do you feel like you deserve the good things that are happening? Because you absolutely
Yeah,
do,
yeah.
and
I keep hearing that too, like, "Oh, you deserve it," and I'm just like, but I'm
do you
nervous."
believe it? Do you feel it? We've learned
That
that
maybe
tonight.
that's what it is.
And I would
Yeah.
moreover on that one is understanding that, you know, the universe doesn't have a moral compass, and this is where I talk about the emotional state. That's
Mm.
the deception. Why is it deception? Why is it manipulation? Because you believe it's real. It's
Yeah,
not.
that's
It's
true.
not. It's transient. So all these thoughts, feelings, and emotions are being evoked by events, but in
Mm,
actuality, your consciousness is everything. So you
mm.
are compartmentalizing yourself to that myopic part where, oh my goodness, people are judging me. They're making sure that I'm not getting what I want to achieve. I work so hard, now I'm going to lose it. And so you're thinking so deeply into that. That's where that anxiety, that OCD component, and then
Yeah,
that fear is really starting to drag down your jing and your constitution. It's kind of interesting.
yes.
It's sort of like an overflow and excess, and then the anger starts to materialize because it's
Yeah.
so much easier to take control when you become kind of sober. It's like taking smelling salts. I can take a shot of coffee and I'm on it.
Right.
I don't like this. I don't like this place, person, or thing. And I know I can confirm that within myself. So now I have control. And
Yeah.
that's just that is a delusional place to be. And I'm not saying that as an attack on your personality, but
Mhm.
realize that all these emotions are from the past. They're not even real.
Yeah,
And so you
it's
are
true.
you are just dictating So when you say, oh, well, I've worked at this and now I'm afraid I'm going to lose it. Well, the more you invest in actually making that your spoken word, and because you do realize it within a duality, you will manifest it into your reality. Does that make sense?
It makes complete sense.
And so you keep repeating the same behavior, and that's where the heart is trapped off. It's an interesting one because you guys are very similar in some ways. Like you had a very
mine too,
right? Which you had a very similar, and don't forget this: like attracts like.
Yeah.
Right, and there is never. You always want to resonate the highest frequency of whoever that person is, the hologram of, right? Because we're all light. In reality, we're all light. And the only reason it's materialized into something that we visibly see with our eyes is because of how slow the frequency is, that it's now turned into matter. Wave, matter, particle, blammo. This is what you see in front of you. But in actuality, at high levels of frequency, in the way that the universe is moving, we're moving beyond light speed. That's how I can read someone's past, present, or future life readings.
And it's powerful too.
That stuff is going on. So now that's where the heart, you've literally locked that down. It's not for business. You don't.
We about to talk about business.
No. Your heart, heart per se, is you're very protective of that. So how you share yourself, how people realize you in a state where you are, you're not very open to sharing how you really feel, even though you're doing this on live television. In reality, if this was a personal relationship, you would be you have a boundary thing going on. So that's one of your first energy, that's your first energy center. And so that particular energy center is in excess. So now we're going out of the organs and we're going into the energy centers that are connecting you with the earth and the universe. And the first one is really the earth energy, which is deficient, which is also aligned with your spleen, which is in excess. So work that one out. I'll tell you that in a minute. Then the second energy center, which most people will call your first chakra, which is the perineum, that is representative of your boundaries. And yours is hyper red color, meaning basically telling me, hey, back off, dude. If I could smell your breath from here, if I could smell your breath from here, this is a problem. You need to back
that.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. I'm like super protective of my heart and energy. I don't allow myself to get extremely close with people like I used to anymore, because I've been abused so much by like friendships, especially like friendships, because I grew up in a house full of women. So I was already aware of like the abuse of being in bad relationships with like, with men and stuff. But I did not have the awareness of the pain of friendships. So I spent majority of my life trying to create this family with friendships, and then turn around and end up getting hurt from that more than anything, more than any relationship. So now when it comes to me trying to open up to new friends or just friends I have in my life, I have this huge boundary where I'm like, I can't allow myself to get too close to them because I'm afraid that they are going to turn on me, or it's always some type of jealousy. Like, it's just always like these little fears. So it's like, I want friends, but then I put up this wall in a way where it protects me enough. So if they do something crazy, it will not hurt me because I already had that distance in between us.
And that protection can be, isolating.
Yes.
And so, now we're do you want me to go through the last energy centers or?
Yeah, I'm ready. Yeah. Is that okay with Nikki?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah. I wasn't sure of the time or how long we got or whatever we got.
Yeah, we're not worried about time at this point.
Okay, right. Okay, cool. All right, so we'll get back to the last. The heart is being completely closed right now. The lungs, it has a lot of sadness, grief, hopelessness, helplessness. There's a lot of that stuff going on. Yet, strangely enough, you are very sensitive to the energy.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a strange thing, because normally when you block that off and that's stagnated with a lot of like unresolved like sadness, you become sort of very detached, and you're showing signs of that, and you're confessing to that. You're saying, look, I'm attempting to separate myself. Now what that does is there's several things that can take place, which you may have had a few bouts of, from what I can see, light levels of depression, but nothing that's going to send you to one place only. Does this make sense?
Yes.
So there's a level there, but understand this: you want to make sure that you're whole, and you want to make sure that you take the time to share with people, because when you isolate yourself within my business is quite simple. It's oppression, depression, possession. It goes that way. So you want to make sure, especially when you're operating in this state, and you have duality as the foundation of your reality, because everything is, all of this is on you. It's on no one else. It's not what I believe, what Nikki believes. It's what you believe, and that's the credit. That's that part where you had that energetic charge of realization, going, "Holy crap! I do not like this feeling that I'm getting right now." And I apologize if I need to censor that. I shouldn't have said that.
Oh, no, you're fine.
So now we've gone through 2 energy centers. We've gone through the organs. Now, on the 3rd energy center is what we call the pelvis area, which is related more to sexual energy. Now, that's an interesting one, because you're very protective of that, but it's also something that's, if I was to tell you out of 1 to 10 whether that's priority for you, that's probably around an 8. Does that make any sense?
8 as in like high priority?
Or no, less.
Less priority? Yeah.
Now,
I did not think about, it's just so, I think, so that is like something I'm dealing with too. And I think it's from me growing up in church. Like, we was always taught, like, you're not supposed to have sex until marriage, and sex is such a bad thing. Like, it was just like this stigma on sex just being such a bad thing. So my whole life I suppressed my sexual desires, and now I'm like, even though I'm out of the church, my body is still processing that. So now it's like, it's hard for me to have that desire of wanting to even be sexually active. Like, I can go forever without being sexually active, but I have a whole husband. So it's like that's not okay.
Well, no, I understand that. It's just like when you look at the aura. So I look at the aura, it's very dull. Now, someone who has a very high sort of libido, it will normally be a super neon orange color, and yours is sort of like almost at a brown level. And so that indication, and then when I start looking deeper, it doesn't become a priority. Now, that's just, you basically confess that right there.
Yeah.
That's completely okay, but I'm just explaining to you how that I came to that realization.
Yeah.
And so so it's all got to do with the aura. I just look at the aura, and then the information is given to me that way. It's not like, did you have a grandma? No, she's still alive. Oh, hang on.
Not the grandma, no.
Did you have a brown dog and a best friend?
Yeah.
Was his name John? Oh yeah, there you go. See, I told you. No, that's not how it works. This is like that phony stuff is kind of irritating to me, but hey, someone's got to make a living somehow. You know what I mean? That was just a joke, by the way, guys. But so where we're at right now we're looking at the 3rd energy center, which is the yellow court. Now that's really interesting, because you would assume someone like yourself, having a lot of unresolved emotions still stagnated, you're prepared to deliver them to whatever organ they're in. They still have to be resolved, but you're not holding on to the emotion as most people that would have confessed to the sort of the way that your body is expressing itself through its aura. I would personally, my personality would have assumed that there would be a lot of stagnation there, but it's quite clear. So you're allowing emotions to realize themselves in whatever department they're supposed to be in. Now, what you do with that is up to you. Now, ultimately, that physical manifestation is not where you want to go. You don't want to get to a point where we're realized into a physical manifestation. We want to heal before that. We want to get the energy moving. We want to get rid of all the stagnation so that you're clear and that you're operating at the highest frequency and vibration all day, every day. You're manifesting like a manifester, the great little manifester that you are. And so that's a great start. The fact that there isn't anything there, which I thought was really profound. And then, of course, now we have your fifth energy center, or in Hindu practice, a fourth chakra. That is where we got some stuff to do. I'm not going to say work, because that then materializes as work. It can be fun. It can be complete fun. We can have a party with it. We can be
not the party though.
Exactly. and but understand this, when I talked about that neural network and the cells that are in the heart that are almost as equal to the cells in your brain, and that's how we synchronize the two. There is a lot of unresolved stuff that is sitting there, that if we poke you a little bit, you're going to get very emotional, and that's completely okay. But understand that that's a great healing. When you can identify with the emotions that come up as nothing more than that, instead of attaching it to a place, person, or thing, which what all human beings do. And that's the mistake. That's the fallacy. If you get an emotion and you just go, oh no, here we go, I'm going through it. Let me just release it. I'm not attaching it to that person, that person, that person, that person, that place, that place, that place, that thing, that thing, that thing. It'll just dissipate. You will heal yourself so quickly. It's very powerful when you have that accountability and that realization, rather than let me sit down and work out what happened to me. When I was 5, I only got 3 Oreos and I should have got 5, and now I've got to work it out. And all that stuff is stories. They're stories, and that story can change at like this. And so when you understand the magnitude and power of yourself, then you don't have to get caught in the weeds. You can materialize an instant healing without getting caught in the subsections that people have told you. You have to process this. You have to sit down. You got to work it out this way, that way. Now, I can speak on that I'm pretty sure Nikki could have more of an insight into in relation to the psychology aspect. But understand this, that can be realized as a healing almost instantaneously. Now, the fifth or sixth one is, this is where you will find people that have a lot of like throat issues. You'll find people that come up with, throat cancer, cysts growing, thyroid issues, that this will be completely blocked.
Oh, wow.
And so, yours is a fairly neutral. It's a little deficient, but not really anything that I need to be concerned with. It's still a bright blue color. So you do have an issue with people spinning the old BS. You do not tolerate people spinning the old BS. The first thing you want to do is
bye, Nikki. You get on my nerves, Nikki. Like
in your bad books, start spinning the BS, and then you catch him spinning the BS. Oh no, not up in here. Yeah, that is a realization. Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense. I can't stand when people be on BS. Because it just wastes so much time. Just keep it real.
Well, I think it's very reflective of everything you've shared today, as understanding that people don't like, I think you've had your fair share of liars and manipulators, and that's it.
Too many.
You're done. You have that actual realization. Now, take it from there, and that can easily be equalized. We want to get that ebb and flow of the energy. Now we take it to here, which what most people would call the third eye, or what someone would call the sixth chakra. In Taoism, it's the seventh energy center. Now, you're kind of spiritual, my friend. Like that's
Nikki. I keep on looking at Nikki like,
No, that's got some juice to it. I'm telling you right now. I mean, the celestial, normally that color is purple, but yours is like a phosphorus celestial purple color, which is some really good vibes, some great energy, because that's something that is going to blow the top off all the rest of this stuff. When you keep revisiting,
don't get me hyped up, Nikki.
Yeah, no, she's a queen.
Right. So if you want to realize the mental, emotional, physical stuff, you want to torch it like this, you hit the spiritual. Forget about all this other business. Once you hit the spiritual, all the rest of it just disintegrates. It's like, man, it's a day in the life of, or a minute in your spiritual office, and you become realized. And that's why it's so important to obtain and maintain that frequency within that 5D reality we speak of, and creating that synchronicity as much as possible. This is beautiful. Now, your Bai Hui is having a little struggle. This is what we call the what you would call the seventh chakra from a Hindu, 8 energy center as a Taoist. This is where the energy from the heaven comes down into what we call this vehicle, right? And that's what we call a Bai Hui. Now, that's kind of like half open, half closed. And that can be, an interesting component, because just because you are super spiritual, the access is the fear. That's coming back to the fear part. Now, we just got to open the doors, my friend. We need to just open that right up and just realize your innate power. And so all this other noise and I'm going to call it nonsense, because it is.
Yeah.
It's not you. This is low level stuff. You're up here, but you're down here for a reason. And when you have friends like myself and Nikki, we can get you back up here real fast. Thinking about that.
Look at Nikki.
And it's really important, because that leaving that half open and closed gives you moments of clarity, and then moments of complete, feeling lost and not being rooted in the power of who you really are, which is the oneness. Does this make any sense at all?
Yes, it makes a lot of sense. I know, just talking to Nikki about, I feel like my spirit is pulling me, because I had took a break from like the mental health field for a while, because I just got like so drained from it, because me and Nikki just got over like a really bad business situation probably like last year. So like I was like still healing from that, and it kind of pushed me away from the mental health business, and made me focus more on like social media and marketing, because I felt safer there, because I didn't have to be seen or didn't have to deal with people as much. But now, like lately, within like the last month, things been coming up that's been pulling me back towards the mental health, and my spirit is, I feel that light within me again, like it's slowly being lit, and I'm like in the middle of like this confused stage of what to do or not. Like, should I get back into the mental? Tell
me about the trauma release that you do.
Oh, I teach a class called Trauma Release. I feel like one of my biggest gifts with trauma release is helping people connect to their inner child, like finding the parts of them that they need at that moment, at that time, and allowing them to heal that version of themselves by reconnecting back to it. So that's what I do with trauma release. And then I met this person who has this beautiful facility, which is something I always wanted to do trauma release on, and now I have the opportunity to do it. So I'm just like, oh crap, like this is a lot. I'm like, Nikki, what should I do?
Your spiritual self right over there.
Yeah, like all this super spiritual stuff, all in one room.
And you see, now you can start framing it. If we look deeper at some of the stuff that we've talked on today, your realization of how you want to integrate that into your trauma release program can simplify it and make it even more magnified and powerful by just that in of itself, just your perception. So now you can start leveling up and getting these people where they need to be. But you need to understand that if you're in fear of something, you're in fear of yourself.
Yes.
So if you have to be, oh no, I got to back off. I had too much of the mental health, and now you realize it's like, really, what am I even considering? What am I worrying about? Because the truth is,
true.
That person is you. You are them. And so what happens is when you connect, you do the Shazam moment. When you connect with your true self, you're all knowing, all powerful. And so you can shine the light on those people and torch their stagnations, and so quickly have them level up and realize how powerful they are. Yes. And that just comes with that interconnection. And so the frequency gets even stronger, the vibration gets even stronger, the energy becomes even stronger. So now you're realizing that now you want to get back in the ring with Tyson. You're going to knock Tyson out.
You better watch out.
Ali, shoot, knock him out.
Yeah.
But
If
I can say this, Nina, like because she did trauma release on me, and you are so confident when you're operating in that space. That it was so powerful. You don't second guess yourself, as you're learning more about social media, you may have times where you're like, I don't know. And you don't question yourself. Like, you show up 100%.
And that's a beautiful observation that Nikki made, because but here's the beautiful part. You know that too. You're all knowing. You're a badass when you're right there. You're right there. Yeah. No, that's absolutely something else. Yeah. And that's you all the time. That's the delusional. And I say delusional, I don't mean to say that because, you guys are into the whole psychology thing, excuse me. When I say delusional, I mean you're lying to yourself if you think that's not you all day, every day. Yeah. And so that's where the feeling comes in. That feeling you get, that's why I reiterate it over and over again. I'll repeat myself 1,000 times in a day. You must feel it. When you feel it, you're realized. And that will synchronize the brain. And that becomes that consciousness, that awareness that makes sure you're the magnet, and it draws right to you like this.
I love that.
Oh,
yeah. Get ready. Get ready.
Look at her. Look at you. You're too ready.
I did it for you.
He didn't say it for me, Nikki. He didn't say it.
Can you do? We're gonna close in a little bit, but can you do a healing as we bring everything to a close? Isn't he amazing, Nina? I try to tell you.
Oh my God, I love him. We got to connect to him after this. For sure. This was amazing.
Absolutely.
Everybody, what do you think so far of the podcast? I know we're about to close shortly. Oh man, this was beautiful.
We have so many comments. It's just been going.
Yeah, a lot of comments.
Well, here's the good thing, and we can do this with the audience, because I forgot we had an audience. I got all.
I appreciate it so much.
Here's the beautiful part, and I'll have people realize this. So, prayer is also powerful. When you use these things here, they're called, in Taoism, they're called Lao Gong points. This is where you hold the most refined neural network in your body is in your hands, your feet, and your head. Okay. So for you to be the connector or conductor of that electromagnetic field and realized as a sensory perception, this is always a starting point. You use your hands as a starting point. This is why you take the yang side of your body and the yin side of your body and you connect them. Right now, if you're connecting them right now, and because I use my attention intention, I just realize energy. And if you start to notice, if you want to close off one of your senses, you can, anyone in the audience or you guys can do it. You can either close down your eyes if you choose to, or keep them open. It doesn't really matter. And what I'm going to get you, what I'm going to get you guys to do is now, if you take a moment, you have your hands together. And I'm just going to start to sort of amplify the energy and sort of increase it a little bit between all of us, including the audience. And then I'm going to actually get you guys to just sort of inhale and exhale with my lead. And we're going to do this 3 times. So you're going to, basically what I'm going to get you to do is inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. On the last exhale, you're going to hold it, and I'm going to count to 9. And you're going to hold your breath for the 9 count, then you will exhale, and then you guys can tell me exactly what you're experiencing. So when I'm ready, when you're ready, let me know, nod your heads, whatever you want to do. Okay, so now I'm going to get you to inhale and exhale. Inhale, exhale. Last one, inhale, exhale. Now hold it. Hold your breath. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release. Now, without any guidance whatsoever, just using your neural network, I want you to slowly separate your hands, just also slowly, right? Slowly separate your hands. Now, all I want you to do is tell me what you're experiencing.
My hands are shaking.
I feel really calm, like just like almost like I could fall back,
Right,
just
right, right. Now, what I
really.
want you to do is slowly oscillate your hands back and forth, just sort of very slow, very slow. When it's too slow, it's not slow enough. It's very slow.
I feel like I'm pressing something that's in between my
Right,
hands. It's like
right, right,
a
right,
strong energy.
Yeah, like
right,
Guys, comment in the comment section what you're experiencing as well when you get a
right.
chance.
Now, what I want you to do is while you're doing that, I want you to bring your hands out a little bit like this. So your fingers are like tuning forks. And I want you to separate them, right? Now, I want you to slowly draw them towards the center of your body, very slowly. And you tell me what you're feeling, very slowly.
I feel like this weird feeling in my throat.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. You guys are so, and this is an interesting observation. Now, what I want you to do is now take your hands back to the side like this, and then just palpate them again. There we go. Very slow, very slow. This is new territory for you guys. Now, understand this. This is happening whether you want to accept it or not. That's the beautiful part, because energy is energy. So as you become more sensitive, and your sensitivity comes from that energy pathway, that is your lung channel. So the more we realize that, the more we heal from that particular lung channel, your sensitivity to energy becomes realized. And so if you just do this right now, just very slowly, like this, and you'll find that
in my chest. I don't
yeah,
know.
well, the energy is very palpable. And so you'll find a lot of your audience will give you, hey, look, I'm feeling something. What's going on? I don't know what it is. I have no idea. Palpate it and just take a second to realize. Because the biggest resistance that the two of you have starts with fear, and then the lung channel needs to be completely cleared. So your sensitivity will continue to increase. And remember this, you're a human being and you are a spirit having a human being experience. Regardless of your level of sensitivity right now, it will continue to magnify as you continue to bring your intention to the practice of energy. There you go. And so what do you guys, I want you to give me your experience. You explain it as it stands, what you're experiencing, because everything is your perception.
I feel like a tightness in my chest. I mean, it seems like it's loosening up some, but I still feel that feeling like, really relaxed to the point where I'm, almost like, I could probably fall back.
Yeah. Because everything transmutes into your own perception.
Yeah, I feel like my spirit is being massaged and it's making me like want to fall asleep. Like I'm like,
well, yeah, that's an interesting. You see, what happens is why you guys are getting that sedated experience is because of where the energy is moving in your physical body. And so what happens is you will find it materializes either to a dramatically high gamma frequency or a super low epsilon frequency. And so the epsilon is deeper than delta. That's why you kind of feel, I'm pretty chill, man. I'm kind of relaxed.
Exactly how I'm feeling.
I'm reading the comments too.
What are the comments saying?
Some Cassie says vibrating energy is tingling and warm. That's what she's feeling. It's on my rib to left side. That's Casey. What else do we have?
I'm still doing it. Am I supposed?
Yeah, keep doing it.
Laura,
Listen,
a sort of imagined my astral body doing the exercise, and I saw a ball of light between my hands. Wow, that was beautiful.
Yeah, look at that. And I mean, this is all transmuted and translated. The energy is the energy. I know the energy.
Somebody said they feel better. Casey said he, I'm not sure if it's a guy or a girl, but Casey says that they feel better.
Oh, yeah.
It stops spasming.
Yeah. I mean, you instantly return. The energy is there regardless of your level of your sensory perception. So everything is individualized. But what I'll tell you with both of you is me tweaking you for a couple of minutes and you'll be like the super energized bunny, like high level frequency. And what happens is that density of energy will become realized. The reason that it's sort of transmuting at a slower rate and you're realizing it as a relaxation only more than just that dense energy is because of where that mental emotional state is. And the more we start to disperse that, look at you, you're like, I'm ready to go. Good night.
Oh, it feels so good. I'm like, oh, I know I'm not the only one that's feeling this.
Yeah. And the energy. So it's strange. I'm going to invite people because I'm doing a group transmission with one of my spirit guides. So I do a group transmission where I bring Lao Tzu, the guy we were talking about. Lao Tzu's my teacher. I see him on a daily basis. We have conversations. Hang on, the guy's completely coherent. He doesn't sound like he's 3 cents short of a dollar. No, I'm not. So I entertain and use this energy all day, every day. And so I'll do group healings where bring 1,000 people into a room and we'll just blast the energy through. So this was just a sampling of an example. But once you link it up, all bets are off. It's
Roberts don't got nothing on you, buddy.
Right. And so this is the exciting part because we'll invite your audience and you can mention it to them and they can come in on it. In about 5 days, I'll have a large group healing, and you will see things materialize and manifest and heal instantaneously like you've never seen before. And that just comes from getting that pure source energy from the highest frequency. And when he comes in, I'm sweating like I've just been at a sauna for 5 days. So I'm sitting there and it's like, holy moly, that energy comes in and it's like a blast out and everyone gets the rippling effects of it. And, right now we're just as a group feeling the energy. We transmit a little bit out there and it becomes realized. And so people start to the funny part that people need to understand is you don't have to accept it, but know this to be true. The physiology, the actual science behind it is realized, and I spoke on it earlier. It's happening regardless of where you're at in your consciousness level. I've had some of the biggest skeptics in the world. Like, for example, I had somebody, it comes to my mind, I was working with them and their husband was like, oh man, I'm so sick and tired of hearing this San Quinn guy's name. This has been going on for 2 years. So amazing. I can't believe it. And anyway, he turns up and I'm doing a session with her. He turns up and he's like, I've torn my rotator cuff. I can't move it. And I'm like, okay, cool. He goes, forget it. I'm done with I've exhausted everything else. I'm going to try this weirdo, whatever you call his name is, San Quinn. Go ahead.
Not the weirdo, no.
I'm sitting down there and I'm talking to him, and I must have talked to him for 20 minutes. And we're just having a conversation, and I'm like, okay, cool. And he goes, okay, so when are we starting? And I'm like, we're done. He goes, what are you talking about? He goes, what are you talking about? And I said, we're done. And he goes, he couldn't move his arm, right? And so I just talk to him. I do what I do. I don't need to be doing this and whoa, oh my goodness, whoa. No, none of that is necessary to acquire the frequency. When you master that stuff, it's instantaneous. So I said, all right, get up and move your arm. Now, before he sat down with me, he couldn't do this. He couldn't move this. I said, get up and move. He goes, no, we haven't done anything. When are we getting started? Do you need to pull the incense out or what's going on? I said, no, we're done. And then he goes, pulls his arm right up and moves it. I go, hang on, you were about to get rotator cuff surgery, weren't you? And he goes, yeah, I don't know. Holy moly. And he freaked out so much.
What?
that he spent 6
body.
months. He spent 6 months destroying his shoulder until it was destroyed again because it freaked him out too much. It freaked him out to a
What?
point where he couldn't handle the realization that healing was like this. And it was like, this doesn't make any sense to me. I need this to be broken again. It has to be broken.
That sounds
And
like
so-
something that one of our comments. This one right here. Can you see this? By
Yeah.
Lightbird. Can y'all read that?
Yeah. Slight pain in my heart that went into my spine, which caused me to straighten my back. And now what I want you to do is all she needs to do right now is take a deep breath in. I wanted to just take a deep breath in. We could all do it for her.
I know. We have to
do it with you, Lightbird.
Right? Take a deep breath in, and then I want to exhale, and then I'm going to expel the energy from her heart and then relax everything else. Okay. Are you ready? Deep breath in. And then exhale. Little bit longer. Got to get a little brighter. One more. A little bit longer. All right. A little bit. Keep going. We're getting back and forth. It's like a seesaw right now. A little bit more. All right. We got to break through. Hang on. Little bit more. There we go.
Good job, Lightbird.
There you go.
Yay. She's feeling calmer and at ease.
There you
Ashley, thank you, Lightbird, because I feel lighter and at ease too.
Yeah. Well,
I feel Nikki about to fall asleep. Wake up.
When you see the energy, with the way I see it with my eyes open. So I see spirit energy frequencies all with my eyes open. I don't need to get all closed eyes and whatever. So I'm looking at her heart energy, and it looks like a sieve where the lights are shining out through these holes. And as I condense the energy and pass it through the stagnation, it lightens up and it gets brighter and brighter until it becomes whole. And then I know it's done. Yeah. And that's why I'm like, hang on, keep going. Boom, 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 bam. And then she's feeling better. Good for her.
Oh,
What a coincidence.
I love this. I hope you guys can see his Instagram. I did put his Instagram up here for the class that he has coming up pretty soon. So you can when is it?
It's probably going to be I'm going to post it tomorrow. It'll be in about 5 days, and I just want people to they just sign up for, because I'll do it on StreamYard or Zoom, because I think Zoom you can have up to 1,000 people. This way, the people in the room are people that want to be there. So I want to make sure that the people that are coming are the ones that want to experience a healing. And if you want to do that, then you sign up, put your email in there, and you'll be given a link to enjoy the get high in your own supply experience.
Yeah. I was thinking, Nikki, maybe we can start doing monthly classes for different people, for our people to experience. What do you guys think about that? If we have like different people come on, maybe once a month, and just, do something like this. It's beautiful exercise, because I feel like not only are we doing a podcast, but we're creating a community of people, and we're all healing and, just expressing ourselves and letting each other know that we're not alone out here in this world. And we all are going through things, but we're so powerful all at the same time.
Right.
Well, I meant to ask you before we leave, how was that reading I gave you?
Oh, it was amazing. It was like spot on. It was exactly what I needed. It was crazy because I talked to Nikki today. It was so crazy because I talked to Nikki today, and I literally listened to her share her story about like some of the things that she's been going through and some of the amazing messages that she's been receiving. And it was like, as she was speaking and telling me about how she was feeling better, I literally felt like I started feeling better just by hearing her story. I felt, and I think that's the thing when it comes to me, and when I do trauma release on people, I feel like for a split moment I become them.
Become one.
And that's not just a metaphoric thing or an idea in your mind. It's the actual energetic component is realized because you're experiencing her expression. she's connecting with you. You're instantly connected. How you synchronize someone, what happens is the mirror neurons that you have in your brain are realized. So what happens is you create what they call a psychodynamic loop, which is more commonly referred to as rapport. So that is then synchronized. So then how she feels and emotes, her thoughts, feelings, and emotions are then realized within your auric field. And then this is part of what we call epigenetics. So the epi means above the gene expression. You're experiencing that through a thought, feeling, and emotion that is materialized within your physical body. So it's not you think you're feeling it. No, you're feeling it. It's absolutely valid. I could give you the mechanics right down to a photon. and so the really profound part is that's what the old expression grandma used to say, you are who you hang out with.
Yeah, that is true. Because when I say I felt you today, Nikki, I felt everything.
Oh yeah, I was talking about you.
Yeah, she was telling me about you, and I was just like,
that I had a session with, and I mean, and what was interesting is that we were texting back and forth earlier today, she and I, and she had sent me a text, and it could have gone, I could have thought of it in a negative way.
I was being an asshole. There you go. Put it out there. I was being an asshole to my good friend. It didn't do nothing to me.
The anger showed up. Okay, so
bye, niggas. About that anger showed up.
No, but it was so funny because I didn't even take offense to it, and I think because of thanks to you, and then also a session I had, I just accept and allow. I was just like, oh, she's just having a moment. It's no big deal. And so she ended up calling me and actually gave voice to it. And she's like, I don't know what was up with me or whatever. I said, no, it's fine. And I started just sharing and pouring out to her everything that I had been, hearing, and how I met you and how I had a session with you and, on your podcast. And so she was just like, and she was feeling it. She kept saying, oh my gosh, I'm feeling something. I'm about to cry, all these things. And I just kept
feeling it.
And so, but what's interesting? I wonder if that's why, like, you don't talk to people that, like sometimes they say, don't talk to someone that kind of brings you down, because I could have been like, having an attitude or something like that. I wouldn't have, but I could have. And in that case, of course she wouldn't have felt better. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's like the same, you put out the same equal to, once it's out there, it will be met with equal to or greater than. It'll be realized. So, the like attracts like, just that basic hermetic principle of laws of attraction.
Yes.
Now for that could be translated into all different types of practices, including Taoism. But the magnet is the magnet, right? That's the key. You are a magnet. You will materialize good or bad things. However you perceive your reality is how it will return to you. And so you are able to connect with that. And, on another note, there are some spirit energies that are in your field that are quite clear. Now, that could be something that we might want to talk at another level. Who knows? I mean,
wait, me or Nikki?
You.
Oh, dang. Nikki,
now, no, but it's not a negative thing. These are guides that are guiding you through and giving you greater understanding of your experience and what you're doing right now. And if you listen to them more, you're going to be very, very happy with the outcome instead of thinking that, I need to be in doubt of my knowing.
Yes.
Because your knowing is clear. And that was realized when you're in your thing, you got your deal on and you're healing people. It's like, damn, I'm right there. That's you. That's you all day, every day. That's you. That's you.
It comes natural.
And that's it. That's the truth. And this is where people get all twisted. And that's why, I created an app specifically so you train your neurology so that you're there all the time. This is materialized all day, every day. And this is what happens. Then you become the master. And when you start to go, I got an emotion, and you go, emotion, sit over there. You're not going anywhere. Now be quiet and don't do a thing. And this is where you become all powerful and you realize that no one's got anything on me. And then all of a sudden your consciousness opens up, and your operation of how you feel, that feel good that you get when you help people, when you're in service, when you're in complete selflessness, which all three of us feel that. We get that. And then the misconception is when you get caught up in it and you're like, oh, I've surrendered to this. But you have to understand that you two are, and I want that sounds bad because my mother would be like, you don't ever say you two to people. Individually, you need to be respectful. Oh my goodness, she's echoing in my ears. But understand this, that when you guys are in the business of acute pain and suffering, and so this will generate a lower vibrational energy, and those people will constantly gravitate to that type of outcome. Understand that, know this to be true. So when you're putting your I'm in service sign up, understand that if you're in doubt for 1 second when you're operating in that lower vibrational energy, all of a sudden you become realized. And as you mentioned before, well, I started to feel their stuff. And that's the part of the alternative sort of like healing part where people get all discontent and they start burning out, mostly massage therapists, because they create this proclamation and they go, I can feel other people's emotions. That's why I protect myself. And when I'm doing stuff, and then they're the ones with all the physical problems. And you're like, after 10 years of doing it, they're burnt out. 20 years, I can't do this anymore. I can't deal with people's problems anymore.
Sound like my sis.
And that's what materializes, because that's your manifestation. You're like, oh, look, I want to deal with a bunch of broken people that don't want to be fixed. And then, boof, guess what?
Wait, that sounds like both of us.
I know. That's why I'm like,
I know. That's why I'm looking. I'm looking straight at Nikki. I'm like, because we talk about that. Like, it's like you love helping people, but man,
and then that drains you guys. It drains you guys. And you're like, I'm spent. I'm done.
Yeah.
I need time for myself. I got to, like, I always see this. It's like, I can never forget this. It's like, once you see it, you can't unsee it. It's like, there's this famous a reality person. What's her name? Nene from like Atlanta Housewives.
Oh, yeah.
I love that. I love her. She's like, you do you and I'll do me, honey. That's just how it works. And I always think about that, man. It's all the time. It's like, you do you and I'll do me. And understand that. That's so powerful. Like, people look at her like, oh, she's just all up in her, attitude and everything else. No, she's got it going on. That woman is all powerful and all knowing. Like, that woman is like a bulldozer. She just, I got my direction. I'm going that way. And it's like, people kind of freak out. They're like, she's done this and this and this, and she lost her husband and all this other stuff. But the realization of how powerful she is, she gets tuned into it. And then, when you get caught up in the static is when bad things happen, because that's not the truth. So if you're going to be in a place of service, and that selflessness must also acquire fearlessness. You must be fearless. Like, so I've been dealing with that low vibrational energy for a long time. That means clearing houses, working with low vibrational energies. I mean, we won't talk about it right now, but we have talked about it. But understand this. That's realized within the construct of your perception of your reality. Everyone they're running their own ship. How you perceive it is what you receive. Your perception is your receiving of your reality. End of story. And that's why it's so powerful. Your level up on consciousness only has to do with your truth.
Yes.
Your truth is the only truth. And when you accept it, you're all powerful. You're all knowing. There's nothing that no one could touch you. And so I deal with this a lot, and have over the years, where people, I've used this example. 2 people that are sick, they've both got cancer. Both of them say, I'm going to beat it. And you hear it. You look at them like, I'm going to beat it. They both do the same thing. One person's dead 6 months later. The other person is still alive. What's the difference? One of them believed what they were saying. That's it. That's it. And so
that's true.
that unconscious comes out through your linguistics. So I can sit. I have quite a depth of sensory perception that I use without doing anything. I do that all day long. I teach people clairvoyant stuff, but that's not the point. You could sit there as a novice and listen to what people say, to what comes out of their mouth. Their linguistics will tell you exactly what's going on inside their head.
Ooh, that's so true. Nikki, how many people have you talked to and you felt it?
Oh yeah.
Like,
I already knew. Yeah, but you want them to have a chance to give voice to it.
yeah,
Right.
like
And
that's
so
even like out of anger too. Like it's been times like even like with you today with me, a person they can be voicing something, but you are so intuitive within yourself that you can feel the true meaning of what they're saying. You're not listening to what I'm saying. You're like something is wrong here. My friend is not having a good day. Besides listening to what I'm saying and taking it personal, you looking at like, nah, sis is going through it today. I'm not gonna personalize that. I'm just gonna be here and be ready when she's ready to talk or not.
That's what I did, because when you called me, I mean, what did I do? I picked it up. I was in the
You
middle
answer like, hello, it's me. I was wondering.
Yeah. She picked it up with hello.
Hello.
Not defense.
What's going on?
Tell her your favorite singer.
Oh my God.
Genuine. He's my boy. Genuine is like, man. I literally, if I want to get,
oh my God,
if I want to get my groove on, if I want to hit that, I mean, that dude does it every time. He has got the most angelic voice. I can get lost in that tone, man. I absolutely love Genuine. Now, I'm going to manifest meeting him one day. I think he's incredible.
Let me know.
Make sure you send us.
I can be with you.
I want to see.
I want to see this because I feel like this is going to be hilarious.
Yeah, it's because it's so you find your healing in the most obscure places that you wouldn't realize. And when you guys are both sitting there, especially Nikki, she would never have in her wildest dreams. Hang on, one day I'm going to just pick up my cell phone and I'm going to find some Taoist priest putting out some stuff on some social media and totally resonate with it and bang and realize in here how true whatever was coming out of his mouth resonated with me in here. And that's what it comes down to.
In my life until I heard, and I don't even know the video that he put out there, but I was just listening to all of them. Like, man, all the dots were connecting, and I'm like,
that's what it comes down to.
Girl, it's that discernment, sis. We got that. I think we both have that, and that's why we work so very well together. We have this very powerful discernment of like being able to read the room and read people. And to be able to bring it together in a way where it's like almost magical.
And that's why when it was interesting that your readings were very similar.
Yeah.
Yeah. And because you guys connect so much, and now it's time to pop it open. Let it all gush out. We're doing it. We're doing it. It's happening right here. And so we will get there. We will get there, guys. Don't you worry. I'll be more than happy to take you to that level.
Yes, thank you so much.
Well, we know it's getting late, guys. We love you all so much. Thank you for joining us tonight on this.
Thank you for staying on or still on commenting. So.
Yes, like y'all are amazing. But please tap in with him. Check out his Instagram. He will be posting tomorrow about his upcoming workshop. So definitely tap in with him. Get on that. Check out his book. Check out his app, which is phenomenal.
Look up the app. Oh my gosh.
Definitely. And check out his podcast. Yeah. When is your podcast?
My podcast, I pretty much do it most days. So pretty much like I do probably about 6 podcasts a week.
Oh wow! We ain't doing no 6 podcasts.
No, but you should see his content. He's so consistent. I was sharing that with you. I said he's so consistent, and I love that. I mean, it really inspires me to be more consistent because it's like it's constantly. I mean, every time I go, because I watch him so much, every time I go into Instagram, he's like at the top. So I'm like,
it's really well, it's so important for. My main mission is to raise your consciousness.
Yeah.
And if I have to do it a million times, eventually it's going to go. And when that happens, all bets are off. You will become realized. And there's another shift. Just as we all were able to identify and experience this group raising a vibration and the feeling of that energy, that is what your contribution is to the collective, to the singular. That's what it's about. And once you raise yourself up, you're affecting, if we had to measure it with some type of statistic, one of your thought forms affects at least 100 people. That's your reality. And so if you affect 100 people, then each one of those people affects 100 people. Work it out.
Y'all got this.
Yes.
Touch one another, y'all. We got this. We can change the world by changing ourselves.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yes.
All right. And until next time, we will see you guys next week, next Wednesday, 9:30 p.m. and 8:30 Eastern time. Peace.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Okay. Good night.
Everybody don't.